And now let's turn our attention to the Sudan, a resource-rich nation in North Africa, now on the brink of collapse. Two rival generals are fighting for control here. And the result is this: 4 months of devastating war, thousands of people dead, more than 1 million have fled the country. Those left are running out of food, medical supplies are scarce, looting, power and water cuts are rampant. Reports of sexual assault have increased by 50%. As the United Nations puts it, the situation is spiraling out of control. And what do the Sudanese officials say? This week they had a eureka moment. The deputy head of Sudan's Sovereign Council said negotiations will end the war. A genius and equally obvious solution. Well, if things are that simple, why aren't negotiations already underway? What happens to the Sudan and its neighbours if talks do not happen soon? Our next report tells you.
There was a time when civilization was flourishing in Sudan, the North African nation. It has always been rich in resources, which is also one of the reasons behind its downfall. The power games that play out and destroy the nation a little more each day. This is what most of Sudan looks like now. Buildings and cars on fire, billows of smoke pouring out. Over 1 million people have fled the nation and gone to neighbouring countries. They had to. Life in Sudan has been unsafe for a while now. And after 4 months of war, it has gotten worse.
Many of our family members are lost. We don't know if they are alive or dead. They kicked us out and we could not take anything with us. We were told that our houses were burned.
We've all been abused. There was rape and beating, and they killed children and young people. It's been going on for days and we've had no respite.
They took everything. They left us with nothing. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, they just kill everyone.
Those who could escape the country consider themselves lucky. At least 3 million people are displaced within Sudan. They are running out of food. They lack proper health care.
About 67% of hospitals in the affected areas are out of service. In these past 4 months, since the conflict began, WHO has verified 53 attacks on healthcare.
Cities like Khartoum, Darfur and Kordofan face rampant looting and long power, internet and water cuts. At least 4,000 people have been killed. Many of their remains have not even been identified, let alone collected or buried. Reports of sexual assaults are on the rise. They have risen by 50% since the war started. The people of Sudan face what can be called crimes against humanity on a daily basis.
Warn that the war is destroying people's lives and their homeland and violating their basic human rights. They call on the parties to the conflict to end the fighting, protect civilians, and give humanitarian organizations unfettered access to all people in need in all areas of Sudan. They remind the fighters that attacking civilians, looting humanitarian supplies, targeting aid workers and hospitals, or blocking aid, things we have seen throughout those 4 months, may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Yet, what solutions does the government offer? Barely any. This is Malik Agar, deputy head of Sudan's Sovereign Council. He says this war will end at the negotiating table. But where is this table? As of now, it's invisible. Reports say no negotiations are being held or planned. Numerous ceasefires between the warring army and rapid support forces have already been violated. The army and RSF continue to blame each other. This week, Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan accused RSF of taking the country back to an era before modernity. And RSF continues to accuse the army of trying to seize full power. Do these parties seem even remotely close to holding negotiations? By the looks of it, the rival generals will continue to battle at the cost of the Sudanese people and neighbouring nations, which now bear the burden of millions of Sudanese refugees, while they grapple with their own economic woes. The war in Sudan has entered its 5th month. If the conflict continues, divisions will only deepen. chances are it'll turn into a civil war, which will have ramifications beyond Sudan. It's time the warring factions look for their negotiating table, because no one else will build one for them.